Yes, yes, yes. We are live here on CoachellaValley.com. My name is Barry Long. I am the first, not the second, not the third. We are live on CoachellaValley.com, today's California.com. We are also live on today's Canada.com. We're all over the Twitterverse, all over the universe, all over the metaverse. I am your host, Barry Long the second. This is Go Long Live. Mo Murphy, what's going on, boss? How you doing?
I'm tired, bro. I'm tired.
It was a. How was your Thanksgiving, man? Was it great?
Yeah, it was all good, bro. You know,
no turkey on your plate, though.
No turkey on my plate, bro. Yeah,
that's ridiculous. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. Well, I had a great Thanksgiving. I had that deep fried turkey. Oh my God, Mo Murphy, and it's so damn good. I went out and just fried another turkey. I'm literally just getting back from frying another turkey, and it is delicious. I might just open up my own turkey frying business, bro. Like seriously. And when you have my fried turkey, I promise you'll want some turkey next year on Thanksgiving. We're gonna make it happen, man. Okay. Make sure you guys comment in the box. We are the sports show. We are interactive. We want you to comment. We want to talk back with you. I want to really real quick, just jump right into it, bro. So the Cowboys lost, and this was a viral video that just floored me. It's a Cowboys fan going off on his family, and this is how real it gets in some households.
Calm down.
Man, you been talking smack to me all game, man. Now you been in my face, man. Now you gonna be in my face, bro.
This is on Thanksgiving.
Of course, it's a game.
This is Thanksgiving.
This is serious, Joe.
It's very serious. Yes, you're right.
You ain't even no Raiders fan.
Your boys got whooped.
You ain't even no Raiders fan.
Your boys got whooped. You want to calm down.
You ain't even no Raiders fan.
They getting in my purpose.
Stop.
They ain't done yet.
You need to stop.
Joe, this your Thanksgiving right here. Right there.
You need to stop.
You been ragging me all game, man.
This don't make sense.
Stop walking up on me, bro.
This don't make no sense.
Stop walking up on me, bro.
You put some noodles up on me.
Then they just standing there.
What? Smooth? What?
Calm down.
Stop.
They lost. It's Thanksgiving.
Bro, I don't care about no Thanksgiving. And that food was nasty.
And the baby sleep.
Your macaroni is disgusting, Maya. Your macaroni is disgusting, Maya.
I thought it was pretty good.
And your turkey wasn't done.
So cause the Cowboys
Stick to
lost.
doing hair.
Cause the boys lost.
Stick to doing hair.
It gets real.
I will put him out.
You ain't got to put me on. I'm trying to get up out of here.
The door right there.
They need to fire that damn defensive coordinator.
You got to find you a ride.
What you playing softball game for, man?
You got to find you a ride.
What you ain't gonna take me?
That's how real it is, bro. Well, let's just start off with that game. I mean, first of all, the dude said, and the food was disgusting. And your turkey wasn't done. That's how it really gets to some houses. I mean, how you're a Cowboys fan. How do you feel after that loss? The Cowboys had 14 penalties for 166 yards, the most in franchise history, and they are right now the most penalized team in the NFL. How do you feel as a Cowboy fan after that loss, Mo Murphy?
I mean, it is what it is. Like, you lost. Our offense looked good. I can't be upset. Dak looked good without his top two weapons. You know, a lot of people like to say that, Dak without his weapons is not a good quarterback. He's Baker. But he had an amazing game, but so did Derek Carr. And that was the problem. Defensively, that was the problem. Anthony Brown kind of single-handedly cost Dallas the game. Like,
4 pass interference penalties, and they were all on third down. The last one was on a 3rd and 18. And that was in overtime, bro.
Like the last one, Vegas called that play for that reason. Like, Anthony Brown ain't been able to hold Deshaun Jackson all night, and it was like, all right, it's 3rd and 18. Instead of trying to draw something up to get the first down, send Deshaun Jackson, because they knew they was going to be able to punt. So it was like, send Deshaun Jackson deep and hope that Anthony Brown has to hold them pass interference. That's exactly what happened. So, I mean, Anthony Brown was kind of the sole reason that defense got fried, and it was really him. Like, every time you looked, it was Anthony Brown. Deshaun Jackson caught touchdown on Anthony Brown. Pass interference on Anthony Brown. When we need a key stop, the receiver catches it on Anthony Brown. So, like, bro, I don't know what we gonna do about that, but that's got to be fixed ASAP. But we're still, at the end of the day, we're still 7-4. We're still leading the division. Probably will win the division. It's not like a lot to panic about right now. But of course, everybody is Dallas. They lost 2 in a row, so now everybody want to panic and have their 2 cents in. But like, it's fine. Next week, that'll be a cause of concern.
I think it is panic time in Dallas, and for the simple fact that Philadelphia has looked really good. And when you look at their upcoming schedule, they've got the Jets coming up. They've got 2 games against the Washington football team. They got some easy games coming up in that schedule. So we could easily be looking at that Week 17 game being the deciding factor of who wins that NFC East division. You don't think so?
No, that's you non-Dallas people just wanting to see Dallas fail. That's what y'all do. Like everybody.
I mean, Dallas had a bad game.
They didn't have a bad game
on defense.
Like so now what are we? We're afraid of Trevor Siemian next weekend. Taylor Heineke's gonna shred our defense twice.
He might.
No, bro, I get it. Like next week we're gonna have our offense look really good. So but next week we're gonna have Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb. Amari Cooper will be back from COVID. And CeeDee Lamb will clear concussion protocol. He almost had a chance to play yesterday, so I know he'll play next Thursday. So our offense will be perfectly fine. I say sit Zeke. If he's hurt, don't have him play. You need him for the playoffs, not the regular season. You got Tony Pollard, who's a burst of lightning, so we don't need. But even on defense, like, okay, who's really going to win shootouts with us consistently when we're fully healthy? Like, we don't have Randy Gregory. We don't have DeMarcus Lawrence. It's not an excuse. It's just like, I see where we're at now, but we're only going to get healthier, or we're only going to bring back our injured guys late in the season. I'm not concerned yet. If we lose next week to the Saints, especially Kamara hasn't been playing, Mark Ingram's out. Like, so if they have multiple, I don't care if Kamara plays. If we lose to the Saints, then it's panic time. But right now, like, yeah, Derek Carr, who's I guess is an underrated quarterback, played really well against our defense. Our defense got cooked, but we'll be back to full strength at the very least offensively next week. So I'm not really concerned right now. You saw what Buffalo did to New Orleans defense. So I'm not that concerned. One win puts us right back on track, 8-4. And Philly still has to win those games. Like, they've been playing better, but I mean, it's still Philly. Like, that team is not great. So after next week, if we lose next week, then it's like it's panic time. But I wouldn't be worried about it in Dallas right now. Not right now.
Yeah, I mean, but for right now, you're right. I would give it a couple more games to see whether or not, it really is panic time, especially if you lose to the Saints. We'll talk about that Bills and the Saints game here shortly. But, I mean, when you look at some of the good positives that you can take away from that game, you had CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper out, but you did get to see Cedric Wilson really step up and gain a lot of confidence moving forward. You're probably going to need him if you do get into the playoffs and make a deep playoff run. Gallup got off. He had 5 catches for 106 yards. So it was good to see those guys get some more touches and get some confidence. But the thing that I would panic about the most if I am a Cowboys fan is the penalties, because the penalties are what cost you in games, in close games, especially in the playoffs. We've seen it happen before with multiple teams. But when you're out there on an island like Anthony Brown and he continues to get picked on, and it was just like Derek Carr was just throwing him up, knowing that he was going to get a PI anyway. So even if he didn't think that whoever could catch the ball or whoever he was throwing to could catch the ball, or it was even going to make a play, he just knew that this guy was going to pass interfere. So it just ended up looking bad. But I would definitely be concerned with the 14 penalties for 166 yards, despite whatever referee crew, official crew that we have. I know that they're one of the most penalizing official crews out there. Statistically, but despite that, you still got to clean up those penalties because it's going to hurt you in the playoffs moving forward.
The penalties aren't that big a deal. Like, that's the only, I know we're the most penalized team in the league, but that's the only game so far this year that's been decided by penalties for Dallas. In a win or a loss, that's the only game where you're like, oh man, penalties is why they lost. Like, that'd be like, that stood out to you. Other than that, when they lost, they got smacked by Denver. And then the offense didn't show up against Kansas City. So it wasn't about penalties. All our wins, it wasn't about penalties. So, I mean, yeah, you don't want that performance again, but you also don't predict that this is a new trend of constant penalties. And even teams have tried to pick on Anthony Brown. He has a couple interceptions this year too. So just, he got picked on. Not everybody has a Deshaun Jackson either.
Deshaun Jackson got off yesterday. He had 3 catches for 102 yards. And then Hunter Renfrow, 8 catches for 134 yards. Derek Carr looked pretty good. I mean, the running game was there. They even got Mariota involved in the RPO, and he got a touchdown. So the Raiders look good on Thanksgiving Day. Just like, I think Deshaun Jackson, we talked about it earlier when they first signed him, that, he could be a deciding factor and kind of fill that role that Ruggs third lost when he had that tragedy happen or whatever. So I'm thinking that right now that this team is looking good moving forward, and that division is still up for grabs. We don't know who's going to win that AFC West. should be fun to watch down the stretch. Now let's run to the Bills and the Saints real quick. You alluded to it. This is probably the most boring game on last night, and most people were like, all tryptophan out with all the turkey, sleepy, except Mo Murphy, because Mo Murphy doesn't eat turkey. But the Bills won 31-6. Josh Allen, he had two interceptions in the first half. Kind of looked a little shaky on those two of those throws, but he did have 4 touchdowns, and he only incompleted 5 passes. So he looked good. They still don't have a running game. They barely run the ball. But when you have a weapon like Diggs running routes like that and just burning DBs, then you really don't need a running game necessarily. But I think that's going to be problematic moving forward with them too. The Saints look bad as expected. They had nobody, basically no personnel, no names that They had a guy named Tony Jones running the ball for 16 times for 27 yards. There's no Kamara. They're missing weapons all over the place on offense. They really don't have a great starting quarterback, even a good starting quarterback. Trevor Siemian did okay, threw an interception, had a touchdown, but only threw for 163 yards. We don't expect the Saints to do much this year, not with all those injuries. But the Bills got right back on track. And if the Bills can continue to, use this as a motivation factor, just keep going. People are talking smack about them. They hear the noise, and they definitely came to play yesterday. I was excited. How were you feeling about that game?
I mean, like you said, it was a boring game. Depending on, if you're a Bills fan and you were excited. Other than that, you don't really, like you said, people were tired, people ate. I guess it was like to close out the rest of your night. But I mean, the Bills had no problem, as expected though. Like, it's unfortunate for the Saints because the Saints are a good team, but losing Jameis Winston, then like when you lose him, you haven't had Alvin Kamara the past couple weeks. Michael Thomas, ended up being out for the season. Like, there was so much projection with the Saints, and as well as they were playing prior to Jameis Winston hurting his knee, or as well as they weren't playing, but they were still winning games, which is the end game, and that's the goal of every game. No matter how good or how bad you play, win the game, and that's what the Saints were doing, and they had a shot at really, taking the lead in the division, but injuries happen. You lose your quarterback. Your star wide receiver doesn't come back. Your running back's banged up. Your defense, you got some banged up pieces on the defense. Like, that's part of football, and that's what happens. But it's always unfortunate when you see a team who really had a shot, basically is going down the drain, and almost you don't want to tell them to tank because they still got a good enough roster to win a few more games.
And good defense.
And you never know where it puts that situation. But the Saints the Saints are in a tough position now because did you see enough from Jameis prior to getting hurt to keep him after this year? Or do you figure out, because you don't have a quarterback of the future right now. So did Jameis do enough? Like, that's going to be their question is, did Jameis do enough to where we sign him on, or do we sign him on another prove-it deal coming back off an injury, or do they entertain a quarterback in the draft? Like, you never know. They have a lot of questions that have to be answered just off the fact of seeing what their team looked like with all these injuries.
Absolutely. And that's gonna be one of those things in the offseason that we're gonna have to watch and see whether or not they do want to sign Jameis Winston long term, or they just give him another 1-year deal, another prove-it deal. But yeah, coming off that injury, he might not be fully healthy he'll be healthy and ready to play probably by the next season, but he won't be himself. He won't, it takes that kind of injury usually takes them about a year before they really are themselves. And so it'll be interesting to see what they do moving forward. But we also had another game on yesterday, Bears Lions. I predicted that the Bears would lose this game to the Lions. This will be their only victory of the season. And Matt Nagy would probably be fired after the game or on today on Black Friday. Did not happen. The Bears ended up winning the game 16-14 after the end of the game drive. That was organized by Andy Dalton. You had Justin Fields sitting on the sideline, but Andy Dalton looked okay. 317 yards for a touchdown and an interception. But really, Darnell Mooney is the truth. And a lot of people, if you have not been watching the Bears America and just the general public, people outside of Chicago or people who are outside of the know and who are some of these real good NFL talent then you got a front row seat yesterday to watch Darnell Mooney. He had a fantastic game, 5 catches for 123 yards. And it was good to see them. And the Lions, they look competitive. They have in a lot of these games that they've lost. They dropped the 10-1, but it's just you just feel so bad for Dan Campbell and for that franchise. Jared Goff even had 2 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. You feel bad for Jared Goff? Wow, what's the face for?
You did not just say that. You did not just say
Jared
that.
Goff played well. He played well.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hold
for Jared Goff.
No, we're gonna hold each other accountable. You don't feel bad for Dan Campbell. You just talking about he should be fired. So don't ever say
He
that.
does need to be fired. He's gone after the season. He gone.
No.
Oh, 10-1?
So what? You got to get off of that. He had no chance to win a game. The fact that he's 0-10 and tied with the Steelers and competitive in a lot of other games against good playoff teams should be a reason to keep his job. He's doing that with no roster. There's not a lot of coaches that would have been able to do that.
Yeah, I mean, and you're right. When you talk about no roster, Jamal Williams, he was filling in for Swift. He carried the ball 15 times. Their top target yesterday was Josh Reynolds. Hawkinson caught a touchdown. Josh Reynolds caught a touchdown. But yeah, he doesn't have a lot of weapons. But at the end of the day, it's just something about Dan Campbell that just doesn't convince me that he's a galvanizer of the troops, a leader of men. Even in his press conferences, the press conference he had yesterday is still a little shaky.
I just in the press conferences. Who cares?
Adam Gase with the googly eyes. That is a prime example of messing up a press conference at the beginning of the season. Ben McAdoo with his oversized suit when he got the job for the New York Giants, and he was on the press conference with the oversized suit. Press conferences, you better read into a lot of that. You should read into it a little bit more.
No, like y'all, it's because they don't say what y'all want them to say. So then, therefore, they're not fit. Like, no, bro, he's Dan Campbell he's fine. I at least give him either a chance to get his quarterback in the draft or figure out something to get an adequate roster. Like, I at least give him a chance. Like, I'd give him 3 years because it takes that roster is so bad. Like, it's gonna take more than a season. Who was turning that? Like, put Jason Garrett there, and they still don't win a game. So.
I don't know, man. I think Jason Garrett is going to be a good candidate for that job next year after Dan Campbell is fired. I'm sorry, Dan Campbell. I don't know why I keep calling for your job, but I don't think you're safe. I really don't. But let's talk. Let's talk Matt Nagy. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. All
right. Let's talk Matt Nagy because Matt Nagy, it looks like he saved his job, and it looks like he's going to be safe for another few weeks. If they continue to move forward, they're 4-7 right now. If they continue to win moving forward, do you think that Matt Nagy, say they end the season because they're not going to end at 10-7. Let's say they go 8-9. Do you keep Matt Nagy?
No, he's gone regardless.
What if they go 10-7? What if they go 10-7? Do you keep Matt Nagy?
No.
Still.
No. For what? Like, we've been down this road already. Like, he's had multiple years. He's been to the playoffs. Yeah, I get it, but nah, he's got to go, bro. Like, if you don't think he's a good fit with your franchise quarterback, then what are you keeping him there for? And clearly, like, he's shown that he's not the answer. There's gonna be people interested in that job anyway. So, he's got to go.
He definitely has to go. I agree. Even if they go 10-7, he has to go. Today is Fed Up Friday, by the way. I forgot to tell you, it's Black Friday, but it's also Fed Up Friday. So let us know why you're fed up. I am fed up with Matt Nagy. I'm fed up with Dan Campbell. I'm ready for them to go. I mean, and they might as well just make it happen now. Go ahead and get that interim head coach and and make it do what it do. But we are going on live. This is Barry Long II. That's Mo Murphy. We are live on CoachellaValley.com. We want to thank Craig Campbell once again and thank Sage Alvarez for all that they do. Now let's go. Let's talk about some of these weekend NFL matchups that we got coming up. We got some pretty good ones. And then let's get into this college because we got Ohio State and Michigan going to be playing. That's going to be a big game. But what NFL matchup stands out to you this week that you're going to be watching, looking for?
The Bucks and Colts.
Okay, and why?
Colts is interesting. Antonio Brown's he's not playing again. And the Colts are rolling right now, right? So, they've had people like you say that are contenders. So, they're impressing people. Clearly, I give them their credit, but I'm never gonna say a team right now at 6-5 is a contender. Maybe if they beat the Bucks, I'd be like, because but I think this is a test for both teams. I think the Bucks are in a bad spot, haven't had lost multiple games, on a losing streak. Then you talk about the Colts, who are on a win streak, on fire with an MVP candidate at running back and Jonathan Taylor, who played out of his mind against a quality defense, really good defense. He's going to have another tough test this week, though, because this is the best run defense you'll face all year. Any team, period, point blank. The Bucs have the best run defense. I don't even care about what stats say. You watch and you know that running backs do not get loose on the Bucks defense. And it goes to show because people felt like Antonio Gibson did a great job against them when he played against them, but he averaged 3 yards per carry, had less than 100 yards, but because he got in the end zone on the goal line, people thought that he did an adequate job running the ball. So that goes to show what the standard is when it comes to the Bucks rush defense. So that's probably the biggest matchup I'm looking at as far as just a test for both teams. And see if the Colts win this game, I mean, you got now a guy like me, really, you got to start really taking them serious, right? Coming off of beating the Bills, then beating the Bucks in back-to-back weeks. Like at that point, you really got to start taking them serious if you don't already, which would be somebody like me where I got to look at them and start taking them serious. So yeah, that's the matchup I'm looking at is the Bucks and Colts.
Yeah. If they beat the Bucks, man, we gotta really raise our eyebrows at these Colts. They're 6-5 right now. The Titans are 8-3. The Titans have, they got to play the Patriots this week, so they might end up losing that game. They might drop to 8-4 if the Colts can get this. I'm sorry.
That's a big matchup too.
That is a big matchup. The Titans and Patriots. Yeah, I'm excited to see that matchup too. But yeah, the Colts. If the Colts can beat the Bills, if the Colts can beat the Bucks, then we're in for a pretty good matchup going down the stretch when it comes to that AFC South, because the Titans, with no Derrick Henry, they waived Adrian Peterson this week. And so, they're really not having figured out the running game. Maybe that means that Derrick Henry is a step closer to coming back. But McNichols is going to have to hold it down, and we'll see what they can do. But yeah, I like the Colts in that game actually at home. And when it comes to the Titans and the Patriots, I like the Patriots. I think the Patriots are rolling right now. I think they found a quarterback in Mac Jones for the future, and he's just looking the part. But it's really all about that defense and the takeaways, their ability to intercept the ball. They've been doing it week in and week out underneath everybody's nose. Nobody's really paid attention to the Patriots until just a couple weeks ago because they started at 2-4. But when they start winning games, and it's because of that defense, it's what keeps them in the games. And Mac Jones' his ability to make a couple of throws that gets them, the lead, and they're able to hold that lead. This defense is all time, and I think the Patriots are going to be the Bills' biggest problem moving forward. And I can't wait to see them. They play 2 times coming up soon, but I do like the Patriots in that game. Another game I like. I want to get your opinion on this one. The Browns and the Ravens. So the Browns. This is a Sunday night matchup. It's a trap game. The Browns traditionally play the Ravens better than most teams in that division, most teams in the AFC, besides the Steelers. Now, I think this is going to be a game where it's going to go down to the wire. I think Baker Mayfield does have a good game despite all the injuries, the torn left labrum and his non-throwing shoulder. He's got the foot injury. Now we've learned about the heel, and now we've just found out that he has a groin injury. But they are going to get the running game back. They get Kareem Hunt back. I like the Ravens, but I like the Ravens in a close game. What do you think that this game is going to shape out to be?
I'd take the Ravens. I don't even know if I'm going to watch this game. I really feel like it'd be boring. I really feel like
you think it's gonna be a blowout?
I think it'll be boring. It could be a close game, but
not a lot of points.
Yeah,
like 10-7.
Exciting. Like neither offense is really exciting. Like Lamar Jackson is an exciting individual to watch, but neither offense is that great. I mean, I don't know. Like this is one of those 4 weeks ago, this looked like a great Sunday night football matchup. Now it's one of those it's a division matchup. It'll probably give you everything you want. See North, but hopefully that. I haven't looked, but hopefully there's a better NBA game on than this, and I'll probably be watching NBA. Not gonna lie, I keep up with it, but I'll probably be watching NBA.
All right, yeah, man. I mean, the Browns and Ravens game. Of course, I'm gonna be watching. I'm the biggest Ravens fan, so I'm excited to see this game. And yeah, I'm worried about this team. And that that division is also shaping out to be a little bit of a race. I mean, no team is more than a game behind. The Browns are 6-5. The Ravens are 7-3. Bengals and Steelers are both right there, 6-4 and 5-4, respectfully. The Steelers have a tie that they had with the Lions, but that tie might hurt them moving forward, getting into the playoffs, because they've got a tough schedule coming up here. They got to play the Ravens twice, but. Yeah, this game is going to be interesting. And if the Ravens lay an egg like they've done in certain games, then all of a sudden that division just flip-flops just like that. So I'm a little bit worried, but I think that, Baker Mayfield being injured, we'll be fine. Now, another game that we have is the Packers and the Rams. Who do you like in this game? and why. We haven't seen Aaron Rodgers. Hasn't been practicing in the last 3 weeks. He's just now getting back to practice. I like the Rams in this game. I really do. I think they're gonna have, they're gonna make a statement win, and they really want to show, their bravado and put their foot down against one of the top teams in the NFC. I think the Packers, just they're gonna lay an egg. I feel like the Rams defense is a great defense. They're not they don't have a good run defense right now, but they're good in the secondary, good in that linebacking core, and I feel like the Packers don't really run the ball all that well, especially with Aaron Jones banged up. So it's gonna come down to the matchup between Jalen Ramsey and DeAndre Adams, and I'm excited. But I do pick the Rams to win this game. Who do you like and why?
I'm taking the Packers.
What?
Yeah, they lost. I mean, I know both teams are coming off a loss. Rams are coming off a bye week. But that would be all the reason for me to think the Rams might come out slow. So I'm gonna take the Packers. I think Aaron Rodgers, even with the toe, I think he's gonna have a great game, and I think AJ Dillon is gonna be able to kind of do what he wants against that Rams defense running the ball. Because he's a big guy. It's not all about finesse with him. It's north and south, no really east-west running the ball with him. So I think they'll be able to ground and pound, open it up. Yeah, Jalen Ramsey going to be guarding Devontae Adams, but Valdez Scantling had a huge game, last week against the Vikings, had a couple big catches. So I think that could continue. Teams have been able to actually take advantage of the Rams defense, surprisingly. And pretty much every team that goes away from Jalen Ramsey has a high success rate. So I'm gonna take the Packers. I think this is a close one though. I think both teams play really well, but one team has to win, and I'm gonna say the Packers win.
Okay, I like that. But I'm picking the Rams, and we'll definitely be able to see after on Monday when we have a Monday show. We break down all these games. But now let's turn to college football real quick while we only have a couple minutes left here on Go Long Live. I am Barry Long II. He is Mo Murphy. You can find him at Mo Up in Flames. You can find me at Barry Long Radio, Barry Long on Twitter. But we got Ohio State playing against Michigan. We saw what Ohio State was able to do against Michigan State. They obliterate them. I mean, they just embarrassed them. Now, and you've been a big proponent of saying, hey man, this is not going to be just because this team blows out this team doesn't mean, and this team beat this team doesn't mean that this team can beat this team. So I think that Ohio State has found their stride, and they are primed and they're prepped to be in the college football playoff. I don't think that they'll have a hiccup tomorrow against the Michigan Wolverines, but I do think that they'll blow them out. I think they'll obliterate them just as bad as they beat Michigan State. What do you think about the game? Because you obviously are an Ohio State fan and you know a lot about this.
They're not gonna blow Michigan out the same way they blew Michigan State out. Michigan State's biggest weakness, their secondary, was Ohio State's biggest strength, their wide receiver group. CJ Stroud was able to have a field day because our passing offense was our strongest point and their passing defense was their weakest point. So we just took advantage of their secondary. It's not the same. That was literally, we played against the worst secondary in college football, by the way, in Michigan State. Number 6 ranked, but had the worst secondary, worst pass defense in college football. But Michigan, they don't have a great secondary, but they're nowhere near as bad as Michigan State. And it's an away game. That makes a little bit of a difference. Do I think we'll have our way? Yeah, but the one key thing about other teams that have hung it close, with Ohio State was getting pressure to CJ Stroud. And they got 2 amazing defensive ends. Hutchinson, I can't pronounce the other ones, but they have 2 amazing defensive ends that are going to be able to apply pressure. I think Travion Henderson is going to be the X factor tomorrow. I don't think he's going to have a huge game where Zeke has done before, Dobbins have done before, we really put the game on his back. But I think he's going to have some successful big runs to open up, that staying honest to where they don't just send their defensive ends after CJ Stroud. They have to stay honest. The only thing I don't like about this matchup is I wish CJ Stroud was more of a threat running the football, because the run pass option would work absolutely amazing, and we'd be able to take all advantage against Michigan if he was really a threat running the ball, because you'd have to keep both of those defensive ends honest. But now with Stroud not really being a threat running the ball, they don't have to stay honest. All they got to do is get to the backfield and get to Stroud. But I'm not going to put a score on it. I'm not going I don't do that Ohio State. But I think Ohio State probably come out and it'll be close for a little bit, maybe even a little bit longer than we like. But I think the end result is Ohio State walks out of the big house with a victory.
Yeah, Michigan State and Ohio State both sit at 10-1. Both lead the Big Ten. Both look really good. And but just the reason why Ohio State is ranked second and Michigan is ranked sixth is because of the strength of schedule and also the strength of their wins. I mean, they've had some really big wins, and but this is going to be a big game, and I'm very excited to watch this game. It doesn't mean that if Michigan beats Ohio State that they jump up to the playoff, college playoff. Do you think so?
They do.
Automatically.
Yeah, because I mean, essentially, this is to win. This is the winner of this game. Pretty much, you would assume wins the Big Ten and goes on to play in the playoffs. So, yeah, I mean, if Michigan's sitting at number 5, if they beat number 2 Ohio State, like Ohio State probably doesn't drop any farther than like 7 or 8, but Michigan jumps in that top 4, probably just jumps at 4, maybe even jumps ahead of Cincinnati at number 3 and push Bama to 2 or whatever, depending on what shakes from the rest of the matchups. But yeah, like this is for the playoff right here. Like this is for the Big Ten being represented in the college football playoffs.
For all the marbles. All right, we appreciate everybody for tuning in. Thank you so much, Mo Murphy, for being here all week, man. We will be back on Monday. We'll break down all the NFL games Monday and Tuesday as we do each and every Monday through Friday at noon 30 right here on Go Along Live on CoachellaValley.com and Today's California, Today's Canada.com. All right, Mo, let them know where they can find you at real quick, boss.
Yeah, you can find me at Upper Flames Pod on Twitter and Instagram, Mo_Cheese15 on Twitter and Instagram. Make sure you go to offtheballnetwork.com for all your sports needs and entertainment.
All right, and you can find me at Radio Barry Long, _2 on IG, and Barry Long _II on Facebook. As we say each and every day, stay focused, stay motivated, stay inspired, and remember you're capable of doing anything. So go out and do it. Peace.